So I reached out to a couple of different executives and said, what do you make of that contract? And it was a lot of LOL and WOW. Wow. Close to about double what he's worth. Nothing against OBJ. I love him as a number 3 receiver, but that's paying him like a number 1. Amari Cooper makes $20 million and gives you 9 touchdowns and 75 catches and is available. It feels a little desperate. It feels like basically you gave Lamar a cool pre-Christmas present, but the Ravens are in a tough spot. It's quarterback league and they don't have one. The market will dictate how good you are and how valuable you are. And there's no market for Lamar Jackson. And the AFC is a star quarterback gauntlet. You got to have a guy. So it doesn't really matter too much that there's not a gigantic market because he's what Baltimore needs in the AFC. Would you be shocked if by week 6, OBJ is hurt, Lamar is unhappy, he's got a new contract, and the Ravens are stuck at 500?
Here's the Lamar part of it that I don't get. You went public with a trade request.
Yeah.
And now you are not only recruiting ODELL, Instagramming about the recruitment, and then they're at Live together. They've got one of the Champagne Girls placards. Welcome Lamar and ODELL. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this guy is not out on us.
Just for the record.
You're not getting top flight receivers at $3-4 million a year. Okay. You're going to have to pay.
Shannon, is it possible they were bidding against themselves?
That's possible. Well, at that number, probably so. Absolutely.
Probably so. In the end, ODELL just said, okay, you're going to offer me by far the most money. Okay, I'll go play. I'll catch passes from anybody.
Right.
This is very clearly connected. This is not mere coincidence. The question, of course, is what the conversation between ODELL and Lamar is. The Ravens are essentially saying, hey, if we're not going to give you the ring, we can at least shower you with gifts. I think this is a great sign for both sides.
Greeny, like I told you yesterday, it's a wrap in my mind because Ryan RC knows that players talk. Odell Beckham Jr. is not making this move unless he knows that Lamar Jackson is going to be there. So for me, it's a wrap. I'm expecting Lamar Jackson and Odell Beckham Jr. to be making plays come fall.
This is the kind of deal you get on the opening day of free agency.
Correct.
When you're not sure what's out there and
Right.
you just plunge. The market settled, it cooled.
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody else was even in the ballpark of giving Odell Beckham Jr. $15 million guaranteed.
No, I don't believe you got
Are
that
you
anyway.
kidding? I thought Odell was going to have to go somewhere on a make-good contract, but not with $15 million guaranteed.
Correct, yes.
Oh, we went and got you Odell Beckham Jr.
Right.
If I'm Lamar, I sit back this morning and say, I'm now on your hook for only $32 million. You can pay me because I'm non-exclusive. You can
Right.
pay me $32. You just gave him half. I wouldn't love that. Okay, you're pinching pennies with me all along. This has been going on for 3 years, pinching pennies
Right.
with me. And all of a sudden, you splurge for Odell, and I'm supposed to be happy with that?
But let me ask you this.
He wanted his money. Guess who's going to make the most out of any wide receiver who is on the free agent market this offseason?
Odell Beckham.
Odell Beckham. Yeah. He got his money. I don't think Odell Beckham goes there just because of the money.
Ravens, mic drop. They just closed the deal on Lamar.
Yeah.
Come on. If you're Lamar and you are really dug in and you've been sitting here for 2 years, like, nope, are you really going to say, well, now that you've signed a 30-year-old celebrity wide receiver who's on the backside of his career and hasn't played in a year and a half, I'm in. Never mind. Yeah, let's go. Screw everything I've been standing for and fighting for. I'll take the lesser money. Let's not pretend they went out and got him Devontae Adams and Travis Kelce last night. Lamar, don't take $1 less because Odell is on the team.
Oh. I've been the only one on this panel, and I'll be quick, saying that the door is not closed to Lamar going back to Baltimore. This is all professional negotiating. I want out. They won't give me that. Like, it'll all be water under the bridge if they sign. I'm not saying it's definite, but the door's open.
I think this is very risky for Baltimore. He turns 31 this year. Here are the receivers in the NFL last year, 31 or older, who had 400 yards. That's the full list.
400?
Yeah. That's 400.
Wow.
That's every guy 31 or older who had at least 400 yards last year. Wow. None of those guys were coming off 2 ACL reconstruction.
First of all, we know Odell Beckham Jr. loves the bright lights. If Lamar Jackson comes back and him and Odell Beckham Jr. have a record-breaking season, and to your point, he becomes the first wide receiver to go to the Pro Bowl, that changes the entire narrative. This is also his best opportunity to get a long-term deal.
Does this mean Odell and Lamar been talking, and Odell has reason to believe Lamar is going to be there? Is this just the Ravens trying to say to Lamar, hey, look, we got you a guy?
I don't know if Lamar's going back to Baltimore this season, but I do know Aaron Rodgers is playing for the Jets. So if I'm OBJ, I'm messing around with Huntley or I'm messing around with Aaron Rodgers. But if I know Lamar is going to be a Raven this year, then I'm okay.
Just 22 days after he chafed at the idea he's looking for $20 million. Well, you didn't get 18, OBJ, if you weren't looking for 20. So one of the things I was going to write last night, hey, Jets, what ballpark are you in?
Right.
What are we looking at here?
Would agree with
and
that, Mike.
I think the Ravens had to just blow it out of the water to get OBJ. It had to be so much that there was no way he was going to say no. There was always going to be an ego component to this. No one was going to pay him what the Ravens paid him. I think the Ravens paid him. It was a combination of bright, shiny object, getting a receiver to choose to come to Baltimore after years of receivers saying no thank you, and maybe a magnet for Lamar Jackson. One of them, both of them, they have to say yes for their careers to continue. It's on them at some point to say yes. And the Ravens made OBJ an offer he couldn't say no to.
I don't really know what choice the Ravens have, considering I can't remember the last time they've had a 1,000-yard receiver. You've got to have elite-level receivers. And I've said this before, but if you want to see his match, you want to see his progression as a quarterback, you need to give him top-flight receivers. You look at Joe Burrow. He's throwing to Jamar Chase. He's throwing to T. Higgins. Josh Allen, they went and got him a Stephon Diggs. Justin Herbert, you see he got Keenan Allen. He got the Williams kid. And this is their way of basically saying an olive branch. Now, I don't know how far this is going to go to get Lamar, but the Ravens are trying. Lamar wants his money, and it doesn't seem, I don't know how much of this is going to play into Lamar coming back or wanting to come back.
You look at Baltimore now and you go OBJ and Nelson Aguilar and Rashad Bateman if he's healthy, with Mark Andrews at tight end. And you just go, damn, that's a pretty good group right there if they can all stay healthy. So there's some positive things there, at least for Lamar to latch on to if he does sign a contract or come back here to Baltimore.
I would love to have him as a 2 or a 3 receiver, but if you're paying somebody $15 large per year on that team, that's as a number 1. They may look at it and say, we got Joe Burrow in this division, Deshaun Watson coming back year 2 with good weapons. Pittsburgh always has weapons, and Kenny Pickett looked good at the end of last year. We got to load up and get some playmakers here. All businesses are about relationships, and if Lamar really likes OBJ and you take care of OBJ and you get Lamar back in the building, all the talk, all the noise sort of vanishes.
The Jets became a thing because of Aaron Rodgers. I know that the Los Angeles Rams were a thing because of Matthew Stafford. So I expect to see 3 and 8 on the field together this fall.
You don't pay $15 million for Odell Beckham Jr. for no reason. Something is happening behind the scenes, and it is very reasonable for all of us to sit here and assume at this point that Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens are making progress.
Fair. Even if he doesn't win a ring, there's nothing wrong with saying as a free agent, I'm going to whoever is going to pay me the most money. And a lot of us scoffed at it like, well, he just sat out an entire year. Nobody's going to pay him $15 million. So shout out to OBJ, because the Ravens are giving him $15 million. But hell, it can't hurt to add a guy like Odell Beckham Jr. And we all know, whether it's on the football field, whether it's in life, when you can do things with people you genuinely like and you can trust, it makes it better going forward. Yeah, it's a lot more fun going to battle with this guy each and every day in practice and each and every week during the game. So I think if he is an added friend to Lamar Jackson and a veteran in a receiver room with some young guys in Bateman and Duvernay, who knows where it can go.
In that 2019 season, 74 receptions, over 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns. We know his quarterback was Baker Mayfield. You go to the Rams. We saw what he was able to do on his way to arguably winning the Super Bowl MVP. The narrative had always been, I don't know if receivers want to go play with Lamar. But it ensures to the Ravens and the Ravens fans, Lamar Jackson is going to play this season.
The last time we saw Odell Beckham Jr. play football, he was trending towards being the Super Bowl MVP. And that was with Cooper Kupp opposite of him. If he stays healthy, this could be magic. And don't take that Instagram post lightly.
And he got a big bag.
He got a bag.
He got a big bag. But you don't walk into a situation if you're Odell, if you don't have some type of inkling that you got some assurances at the quarterback position, okay? Because not only does he want to get paid this year, which he's going to get paid, but he also wants to get set up to possibly get a long-term deal like Swagu was talking about.
How much money would you give up to do that, though, Key? Let's say let's say it really is 15 guaranteed, 18 on the upside. But you're stuck with Huntley. How much less would you take?
If I'm OBJ, I probably would take a $5 million haircut. Woof. No, but here's why.
That's not a haircut. That's a baldy.
One, I'm in New York City.
Right.
I'm on a team that's probably going to be picked to win the division, picked to go far in the playoffs. I can be one of the pieces that gets the Jets to their second Super Bowl in like however many years. OBJ, I'm back in town. I can wear my blonde. I can do my thing. I'm all on the billboards. I'm going to get that $5 million, which is a drop in the bucket with his personality.
I'll be stunned if we see classic OBJ with the Giants, or like he was with the Giants, and flashes with the Browns. And look, he was starting to get it back together again with the Rams.
He was, yeah.
But it took a while. Most receivers believe if I get the ball more, we're more likely to win.
Right.
If we're not winning as much as we could be or should be, and I'm not getting the ball as much as I want, if you would just get me the ball more, we would win. Managing OBJ is going to be a big part of this. It's one of the reasons why he was available.
Like, I feel like if I was in a contract negotiation and I was like playing, I'm like, I want off the show, this and that. And then like the next day I'm posting like me and like first things first gear with Dusty like this, playing NBA 2K together. It'd be like, well, that guy seems to be really in love with first things first. I think we can get him on a discount.
Yeah, I don't know how much I like it until I know who the hell's playing quarterback, like you said. And we'll see how much OBJ, he'll like $15 million, but he might not like $15 million as much as he doesn't know who the hell's throwing him the ball either.
But at this stage in his career, I think this might not be the best place. He has to be the #1 receiver, 30 years old. We talked about coming off the 2 ACLs, so I think another spot would have been a little bit better for him at this point. I don't think this really changes Lamar. Lamar sees Odell signs like, all right, let me run in here, go sign my contract.
A lot of this has to do with Lamar representing himself.
Yeah, he's getting bad advice.
The moment Odell Beckham Jr. signed with the Ravens, I guarantee you, if he had not even communicated with the Ravens, every fan, everyone knew Lamar's playing, because there's no way Odell Beckham Jr., I get it, $15 million is a lot of money.
Right. You're not paying him that unless you think we got Lamar back.
You're gonna have to get some type of production out of him.
Will this get them over the hump? One, we got to identify how big the hump is. And the hump in the AFC starts with KC. We know Cincinnati's not going to go anywhere. You also got Buffalo, who will fix their running game, and all of a sudden now we got the Buffalo Bills out there doing something. So that's the hump. Now, does this get you over the hump? It's going to be Lamar Jackson if he can stay healthy, Odell Beckham if he can stay healthy, or the Ravens going to get over the hump. Chances are, with the competition that's already out there, those are a lot of rolls of the dice. So what they're doing right now is they're celebrating as teammates should.
I really, really like Lamar as, I think he's I like him as a guy, and I like certain attributes of him massively as a player. I do not like Lamar Jackson, the businessman. I don't think he's good at it, and I don't think he's done a good job with it, and I think he's hurting himself.
Just to give you a sense, Alan Lazard got $22 million guaranteed, and that's for 4 years with the Jets. I texted 2 executives in the NFL, and they said, man, what is it with the Ravens and old wide receivers? Odell Beckham this year, Nelson Aguilar this year, Deshaun Jackson last year. Years and years ago, I got into a discussion with an NFL executive, and he believed that there were certain positions that were safer with free agent signing. He said, I always worry about wide receivers. He said, it's an ego position to begin with. You know, you're the star wide receiver playing by yourself on the outside. You know, a lot of times a receiver goes out wide. It's a jump ball. It's me against you. It's an ego position. Now, obviously, there are some guys like Cooper Kupp or Larry Fitzgerald, Julio Jones, have like a workman-like approach. But OBJ loves OBJ, and now you just overpaid him by about half. If you look at what Amari Cooper produces on an annual basis, A, he's always available. B, last year he had like 9 touchdowns. Highly productive. He makes $20 million a year. OBJ is not close to that.
Well, I mean, first off, when I saw the money, $15 million guaranteed, I was like, whoa, I don't think any other team was close to paying that. But this kind of falls in line with what the Ravens do, guys, because you look at their history, they have not drafted great wide receivers, but they have signed veteran wide receivers like Anquan Bolden, like Derek Mason, like Steve Smith, after they've played at least 8 NFL seasons, which Odell Beckham has done. He could have had Aaron Rodgers to throw the ball to him. He's not going to Baltimore to catch the ball from anybody other than Lamar Jackson.
I checked with somebody with the team. They said hopefully it helps. You know, they really have been looking for quarterbacks now for the last 6 weeks. Contingency plans. The options are pretty scarce, right? It's either Teddy Bridgewater, Carson Wentz, one of those type options in free agency, or you draft somebody, but the top 4 quarterbacks in the draft are probably going to be gone by the time they pick. You know, unless they find a good developmental guy they like in the mid rounds, it could be tough for them to get a quarterback. So they're hoping, you know, hey, look, maybe Lamar will change his mind and come back and play in the franchise tag.
This is a nudge to let you know we got a little bit of help here. You got a guy that you can go to in key moments, and maybe it's something to build on. The Ravens truly don't know, as of now, as far as my understanding, what Lamar is going to do. There's no real momentum on the contract front. So they have been in full contingency mode, looking for quarterbacks in free agency and the draft. But this could be considered a little bit of positive momentum.